Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of X4, and this is again a little bit of an update on this episode, plus we're going to have a look at some ship designs for our small ships. We're ready for our new fleet carriers that we're going to have, and yes, I did have a plural there, fleet carriers. We've got a fleet composition that we're going to try and go for, along with a couple of new designs that I want to get as well. Now I'm still struggling to find the split representative, if there is one. However, I have found the split shipyards. So there's two large and extra large shipyards there and two wharfs there. So the ships that I'm looking at, if we have got look at our buy ships, so I'd like a Raptor carrier because it just looks absolutely immense. Just to say I've got one. However, we need the free split capital ship license for that. So I need to do some work for the split, and I want the Razorback battleship just because it matches the carrier, so it'd be kind of nice to have a couple of them alongside it as well. Everything else I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, the auxiliary ship's pretty cool, and I might get one, but yeah, meh. I do, however, want to grab a couple of the destroyers. Both of them. I kind of like the rattlesnake destroyer. It looks more like a destroyer, you know, more bigger built, which kind of looks cool. However, there's not really much more else I can do until I obviously get the rep for these guys. So I need to stay friendly with them just for now. Now that's with the FRF, I think it is, if I remember rightly. Let's have a look. FRF, yeah. That's with the FRF. Obviously, there's a lot of other stuff we can do in the meantime. We've got all this sector to do here. Kind of want to box off this sector here, like I've always discussed. So we're going to start looking at that. Now, I've tried being friendly with the other split, the ZY8, and it's just not happening. Every time I try, they find an excuse to blow us up. So it's more than likely that we're going to probably wipe them out at some stage. We won't be able to get some of the stuff they do have, but it is what it is, unfortunately. But the FRF will give us some of the stuff there. So that's the plan of action for long term. Now let's have a think about short term. Our wharf is now at a capacity that it can build ships, but it's got a lot of storage inadequacies at the moment. So there's not really much I can do in terms of building ships just yet. And I mean literally just yet, because we can't manage it. Now our other factory can manage it. As you can see, it's got plenty of resources there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set some of the ships onto the old system, because that one that's going to clear out all of that, and it's going to move these all around because it's still a bottleneck at the moment. There's a lot of these ships that I've noticed that are actually housing ore rather than silicon. All these silicon ones are all working, but the ones with ore in them, they're not taking them anywhere. Actually, I think I managed to get most of them. I have been working to try and get them done. Any that have ore, like that one there, is just going to be sat without ore inside its storage and not do anything with it, because the station no longer requires ore. And it's still making plenty of credit as well. That's the reason why I don't want to just smash it with tons of ships to build, because it's not going to make me any money. That being said, we are going to do some ships, because I do want to start getting the fleet together. Even if it is small and medium ships, at least we have a presence. Because right now, we have only got our main fleet, which is obviously the battleship and the two escorts with it. So that's leaving us quite heavily unarmed. So let's go ahead and let's craft some ships. Okay, right, so first of all, I want to start off with my small ships. I have collected the Taladi stuff as well. We've got some more in here. The one I do want to get is the interceptor first. These interceptors here are no good on their own, but what they are good for is they'll shoot past your fleet, they'll intercept another fleet and drop them out of warp or fast travel or travel speed, whatever you want to call it. It will drop them out, so then the remainder of your fleet can then catch up, and that's the design of them. So you want to kind of keep them. You don't want to think that by putting a low preset you're doing yourself a favor, because what will happen is they'll head forward on their own, they'll get taken out very quickly, and the other fleet will be able to escape a lot quicker. So we're gonna go high preset and everything anyway. We're no longer going with Mark 1. We're gonna go with Mark 3 stuff where we can, and somewhere there are Mark 4s every now and then. So we definitely want to push for that. So before anything, we're gonna set it as a where are we? High preset. There we go. We're gonna set that as a high preset. So before we've even started, now we need to think about what we want our ships to do. So first of all, I'm going to get a docking computer on everything. Yes, it's money, but it's technically not money for us because we're obviously using our resources. But it is still cost, you know. But I still want the docking computers because I want these to be able to land very quickly on our support vessels. Especially if we need to repair them and stuff like that. Consumables, I'm not too worried about consumables for our interceptor ships. Weapons, I'm going to leave them with the iron blasters because the iron blasters, they're just standard weaponry really. They're not anything special, but they have got good sustained damage. And as long as they're hitting the ships and dropping them out of travel, then that'll do me. So it's basically the high preset. So we don't really need to do anything for it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it though. So we're going to go for intercept fighter. Yeah, that's right. There you go. Interceptor fighter. And we're going to add that to the shopping list. We're going to then get 20 then for now. Okay, that's our first one done. That's the wrong one. That's the new one. Go back to the old one. Our next ship that we want to do, as a matter of fact, I should have just added it to that, but never mind. Our next one is going to be our long range. Now, there's 2 fighters I'm going to get here. I kind of like the look of these, but I'm going to stick these to doing something a little bit different. I'm going to go back to our trusted Quasar ships because I like them. And we're going to place this. Our first one's going to be a missile. So let's go and get a high preset. So everything's high preset. We want a docking computer. We don't need to worry about scanners, trading computers or anything like that because our main fleet's going to do that for us. But what I'm going to look at is obviously everything at the moment is iron blasters. This is going to be our missile. So our torpedo launchers. So we're going to do torpedo for our first one because these can then basically be bombers. And they're heavy fighters so they can pack a punch. Yeah, let's make sure we got all of them selected there. So this is our torpedoes. So
hello.
Hello.
You good? Torpedo, heavy fighter. Let's add that to our shopping list. Our next vessel. We do want to look at normal fighters, but I'm not a big fan of the Nova Vanguard really. I'm not a huge fan of that ship. They're alright, but now that is a better looking fighter. So let's go ahead and set a high preset. Again, they're favouring the Iron Blaster. The Iron Blaster's not too bad. It is pretty good. But I'm actually going to start looking at different weaponry here because some of the weaponry we can use to do different things. The Iron Blasters are good all round. It usually tells you. Oh, there you go. Right click and you can go to Encyclopedia. I think that's just taking my thing off. What this will tell you is a little bit of information about the weapons and what their damages are. So if you have a look here, you'll see that against a shielded target, the ion weapons do massive amounts of shield damage. Against an unshielded target, they do 32 megawatts of full damage. If you start looking at things like bolt repeaters, you'll see that they're more evenly spread out, but they're less damage overall. It's all about... Oh, the Iron Blaster Mark II though. Oh, that's the medium one, sorry. Bolt Repeater Mark II. There we go. So you can actually go through and have a look at each weaponry. You can see which one's best for you in what you want it to do. So plasma cannon, again, is good against shields and hull. Pulse lasers, not so much. Sharp batteries, again, against both, do quite a good amount of damage. Now, bear in mind, this is going to be against a fighter. So you got to look at things like the rate of fire, rate of heat buildup, projectile speed, effective range. There's loads of stuff you got to look at. Each one has an argument for and against. For example, 4.1 kilometers for an effective range, and it fires 0.33 rounds per second. That's pretty good, that, to be fair. However, there's a couple of things you got to work out. Cost versus output. And also what you're targeting. I do tend to like... is it the bolt repeater? No, there is one... Not the one I want. Oh, definitely don't want that. I think it is the plasma cannon that I want. That's a longer range. I want a short range weapon. That does. I think it's the sharp battery. Yeah, it's a sharp battery. So this is fighters. So this is like where you're going in with dogfights and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and get the sharp battery. Let's go back. Back again. So let's switch that up to sharp batteries. Do we have our sharp batteries? I don't. Yep, there we go. Now we've only got the Mark 1 sharp battery here. But that should still give us effective damage output. Let's just double check on that. Oh, that's actually half of the damage. That's a big chunk, that. So we may go for a bolt repeater, maybe. If we have the Mark 2 bolt repeater, we may go for the Mark 2 bolt repeater. When I click on the right one. Because saying that, they're 6.67 rounds per second. That's quite a short. What else have we got? I think it's 1 round a second for that. 0.25 rounds a second. It's in the 5 rounds a second. So the Iron Blaster, saying that the Iron Blaster does terrible damage against the hull. As a matter of fact, the Iron Blaster Mark 1 does more damage against the hull, but less damage on the shields. Emitters. I kind of wanted the Mark 2 sharp batteries, so we're going to have to try and get them at some stage. We also need to unlock bombs as well at some stage, so we can actually do proper bombing runs. Okay, right, let's go back to our ship. Let's see what we have. Okay, so we can stick with our Iron Blasters, which do very little damage. Or we can stick with the shards and the faster rate of fire. Oh, or do we go for the pulse? I'm kind of feeling the pulses. Let's whack the pulses on. There we go. So pulse weapons are on. And they do look kind of cool. Remember, we need our docking computer. We need to double check the thrusters are all round. We want to change it to combat thrusters. You notice the difference there is the roll and the pitch, and we lose a bit of yaw. But the general output of the thrusters, that's it. It's just roll and pitch is better, which is good for avoiding fire. Or at least I prefer that anyway. Let's check our main engines. We're on Mark 3 combat engines. We're at the back here. We're Mark 3 combat engines, and I think that'll do us. We only have the Mark 1s for the Talades. So I think that's good for our fighter versus fighter. So we're going to actually save this loadout. I'm going to save it to fight, light fighter. Then we're going to add VF versus fighter. Rename ship using loadout. Add to crew. Where's that? Where's that other one? Did he get rid of the other one? That's enough. Let's just get our high preset. Talking computer. What weapons did we have? We were having a torpedo launcher, wasn't it? Torpedo launcher. We'll save this one as torpedo heavy fight. So this is one that'll come in and hit with torpedoes up close and personal. Torpedo. Yep. To shopping list. I want to edit that because I want to remove the buzzard bit off that because we don't need to know it's a buzzard. We need to know they're a light fighter. There we go. Add to shopping list. Right, so that's 2 down. So bear in mind, if you go to the encyclopedia, it's going to wipe your shopping list. I did not realise that. Okay, right. So we've got 2 types of ships so far. We've got our interceptors already being built. So we could go for another heavy fighter if we wanted to. Again, I've got a different role for that for later on. We don't really have a use for the scouts. We've already scouted everywhere already. We could have a look at these fighters here. I do kind of like the look of these fighters. And this is just down to preference now. We've got our interceptor and we've already got our buzzards. So we'll stick with the 2 fighters for now. Or 2 fighter style, should I say. Now I want a heavy fighter that's going to be hard hitting against. Can we have the Shard Mark II? Still only the Mark 1 battery. Not sure I ain't got the Mark IIs. Okay, so this is going to be our shield runners. So they'll run in, wipe out the shields on ships, and then hopefully the other ships should come in behind them and take the rest of it out. But it's never going to work. But here we go. So again, docking computer Mark II. It's already the high preset, so we don't need to worry about anything like that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to change the outer 2. These outer 2 here, I'm going to switch them up to plasma cannon. They're a little bit longer range, and they can cause a little bit of damage to the hull. So we'll rename this 1, 2. Actually, we'll save the loadout, so let's load out. Heavy fighter versus shields. I'll probably forget what the V's are all standing for, but at least I've got an idea. And then we'll just heavy fighter. Yes. H. There we go. That'll remind me. Right, okay, so let's get ourselves some forces here. But we'll just do 20 of each for now, because as you can see, we're already getting a warning telling us it's going to take absolutely forever to build. That's fine. All parts, anti-mat converters, engine parts, weapon components, and field cores.
Hello.
Greetings.
Okay, well that's 60 ships ready to go. There we go. So that's obviously out of our metal factory there. So we need to keep that cash in there for now. My other wharf is still not ready yet. You see, it's still not got all these. It's starting to get there though. We've got the hull parts up there now, which we was struggling with. We've got food rations and medical supplies, which should give us a cruise now, because we were struggling with workforce. Has it actually got a workforce yet? I don't think it can hold a workforce. Oh yeah, workforce. Yep. Oh, it's got current work. Yeah, excellent. So we've got workers. So it can actually now technically start building ships. Now I've got no drones yet, so that's definitely something we need to do. Smart chips. Why are you not station account? Got 72 million. Once it gets them smart chips, it starts building the drones. We're then going to start seeing some shipbuilding. That's the plan. So that's 3 lots of fighters plus our interceptors ready to go. Our shipyard is starting to get there now, slowly but surely. Let's see if we can acquire some smart chips. We've got a ship here doing nothing. Matter of fact, we can probably steal some smart chips from here. Scan array, smart chips. Yep, we can. Let's go ahead and just steal 20k. Then place that 20k onto there. I'll find it. There we go. We can then go over to here manually when it lets me roll in. There we go. My whole factory is there. So transfer wares. Full parts. 134k. That thing is now starting to pump out whole parts like it's going out of fashion, which is fantastic. Really struggled with that in the downtime to get it going again. I've had to put the ships back onto the stations to get them to do anything. Okay, right, so we're pumping some whole parts there. Let's go and do a second run of whole parts. That's for worse. Have a look at the others. We've got plenty of energy coils. Energy cells, sorry, and it's got about 20k in refined metals, so it's not too bad on refined metals. Could do a bit more. Okay, there's a lot of manual stuff at the moment to keep things going. I've had to keep concentrating on it for the past 2 days to keep it running, but hopefully sooner rather than later it's going to start automatically doing stuff. The other thing I'm going to mention before we end this episode is I've also purchased a new mining ship. This mining station here is really struggling for ore. That ore that's in there now is actually something that I've had to manually put in because from our other wharf, the old wharf, I actually manually moved them over with some miners and assigned some new miners. I also purchased a extra large miner and it looks good. It looks busy. He's already mining away. And he carries a lot more. So that carries 9,800 meters cubed. This carries 130,000 meters cubed. So that ore there, so you're looking at about 900 ore getting into the station by each one of these ships. This has already collected, 10 times that nearly. And it's actually not taken too long to do. To be fair, I think it's actually been a bit quicker than the other ones because it's obviously got a full complement of drones to take out the asteroids and gather a lot quicker. The only problem is obviously it's currently sat doing nothing for a bit longer than the other ones are, until it fills up its storage. What we can do is we can overwrite that, and we can go ahead and tell it to transfer wares. And we can tell it to put in whatever words it's got, but there's actually quite a bit of ore still left in there, so we'll leave it. It looks like they've just had a deposit of ores. Okay, so other than the 10... oh, we've already got fighters coming. Excellent. Now, I'm not going to assign these yet. On the next episode, I'm going to assign them to leaders, and then them leaders will assign to wherever they need to go. More than likely, a lot of these are going to sit on frigates and stuff like that for the time being until we get ready to operate. Or we may have them roaming around. But I'm basically going to do fire groups with a different ship being the leader. So probably using one of them other fighters just to, offset it. If they die, then obviously I'll pick a new leader, but that's not a problem. So that's going to be us for this episode. We've had loads to do. It's still ticking away. I'm going to let it tick away now for a while just to try and gather up some resources and obviously get these things going. But most of the stations are built. We just now need to get the money together to be able to buy the shipbuilding facilities for the large and extra large and maintenance bays as well, so that we can upgrade ships as well. Once we get to that stage, we'll start looking at basically stripping this down and placing new factories in our Morning Star. Morning Star doesn't have any resources for ore and silicon and stuff like that, so it's going to be good for us to have ships traveling, but we don't want them traveling too far. We're surrounded by a lot of ore, but I'm not seeing much in the way of gases. So that could be a problem for us. So we may you done? So we may need to build a satellite system. Now I have got a sort of satellite system here, but I've not built anything on it, and I think I'm going to leave it and I'm going to remove it and place a new satellite system somewhere else, a little bit closer in range, probably somewhere around here, or even in second contact where it's got a little bit there. But that area there is very busy. Oh, our builder ship's wandering around. So we'll have a look at that at a later stage. But right now, that's us set and ready to go. We've got a good strong presence in this area already, so we're good and set. And now we just need to start getting these ships built. And as you can see, they're coming out really fast. Excellent. You see, we've still got a lot in there. Still not building the original Buzzard Sentinel that I put in. Or has it? I think it is, you know. It is. It's finally building our Buzzard Sentinel. The one that we initially put in on our new wharf. Fantastic. Logical overview. Let's have a look at it. Has it managed to get some drones? I've got some drones, so it's not building through the drones, it's building through the thing. Got all the resources it needs though. And resources it doesn't need apparently. Oh, you can sell these. Sell orders. Sell order. Sell all these. Perfect. We mustn't need the smart chips or the scanning arrays or the... Yeah, excellent. Right, so we've got our first little fighter going. That's good for us. But that's us for this episode. Let me know in the comment section what you're thinking, any ideas, suggestions, or whether you just want to comment, critique, or anything like that. But until next time, everybody, take care for now, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.